Good morning, class. I'm actually recording these lessons in a restaurant. There's a little background noise and a little background music here as I'm waiting for one of my children to get done with an activity after school. Anyhow, our lesson today is the 4 objectives. We're going to talk about summarizing, main idea and supporting details, as well as narrative nonfiction and context clues. Today we want to take narrative nonfiction. Rescuing Our Reefs is a narrative nonfiction. Here are the things that are included in narrative nonfiction. First of all, it tells a story. We told the story of the diver who dove off the boat, who checked out the good reef and checked out the bad reef, and then got back on the boat at the end. So it was a story about what her day was like. But it also presents facts about the topics. We learned all sorts of different things about the polyps and the algae that make up the coral in a coral reef. And then we have a few text features. I pointed one out yesterday in our lesson, the flowchart that was on the bottom of page 124. A flowchart shows information from the text in a very visual way. Again, the pictures along the bottom. And then, of course, like we've had in the past for narrative nonfiction, is we've had headings so that each section of the story can be easily found of what we're talking about. So headings tell about the section and what's mostly located inside of that section. Today's assignment is Dad and I see green worms. It's kind of a unique assignment because it has to do with lupine. Now, lupine here is a very beautiful, beautiful flower. It grows naturally here in Wisconsin, especially up north of Wisconsin. You can be traveling along roads and look on the side of the roads and in the hills along there. There's lots and lots of lupine. One time, funny enough, I stopped along the road and picked my wife a whole bouquet of lupine. We weren't married at the time, but she lived up north, and while I was traveling to see her, I picked all these up. Well, as it had happened, there was a bunch of these green bugs that we're going to hear about here in the story, and of course, they started crawling all over the kitchen table. Little did I know that I had picked a whole bouquet of flowers that were full of worms and crawled all over the house and made a big mess. Of course, her mom wasn't too happy with me, but my wife thought it was kind of nice that I picked her some flowers. Well, let's read. Dad and I see green worms. Look, Dad, I said, these bugs are eating the lupine flowers. Those are Cara blue butterfly larvae, Dad said. The adult butterfly lays its eggs on the lupine stem. This is the adult laying its eggs on the lupine stem. When the larvae hatch from their eggs, they feed only on lupine leaves. So here the larva is eating the lupine leaves until they enter their pupa stage. Here they are. You can see them here, here, and here. That's when they make a cocoon and they transfer from a worm to a butterfly. In recent years, the wild lupine habitat has been shrinking, and today the Cara blue butterfly is endangered. All right, if we didn't catch it, this right here is a flowchart. A flowchart which we're working on for narrative nonfiction. How do you know this text is narrative nonfiction? I'm going to say it's told as a story, but has lots of facts. Facts, facts, facts. We heard about the life cycle of the Cara blue butterfly here. What text features does this text include? The text feature, notice how I use the words. The text feature is a flowchart. What does the heading tell you? Dad and I see green worms. How would you change the heading to make it more effective? Well, I think number one, the heading tells about the worms on the lupine. Now, number two, this is the one that I'm excited for you. How would you change the heading? I don't think it's a very good heading at all. I don't know if I want to say the life cycle of a Cara blue butterfly, or maybe I want to say the relationship between a butterfly and the lupine. I'm not real sure what you would choose, but something's got to be better than green worms. Green worms doesn't tell us really anything about this. And then finally, number 4, you're on your own. What information does a flowchart give you? And maybe you want to take and summarize what they wrote up here. This up here, the adult butterfly lays its eggs, the larvae hatch, they feed on the lupine leaves, they go into a pupa, and then the blue butterfly is born. Okay? So maybe you want to put all 4 steps of that, each one of those pictures, in your answer. Alright guys, we should have started with our name at the top. Check to make sure that you have your name at the top of the paper. And then down the bottom is page 76 is our first of 2 assignments today. God bless the rest of your day.